You're welcome to the Possibility Series. My name is Camilla Banda. I'm an entrepreneur, a youth empowerment specialist, mental health activist, as well as a politician. This Possibility Series is meant to help young people understand what is possible when we come together and put our efforts towards the economic transformation of our beautiful mother Zambia. Today, I am joined by an amazing woman who has an interesting career story. She went through the ranks of being a microbiologist and doing amazing things in the lab up to owning and running a company. She is now the head of an amazing company that's doing amazing work, that is supplying lab equipment to Zambia, and is one of Zambia's biggest firms in the field, impacting hundreds of lives, or maybe even thousands of lives. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Miss Chibamba Kandala. Hi Chibamba, how are you?
Hi Camilla, I'm well, thanks.
Really awesome to have you here. I feel like you have such a fantastic story, and also it's just such an amazing thing to see a woman CEO heading a field which I can't imagine too many women operate at, especially at the levels that you do.
Yeah, it is a men-infested career. Half the time I'm around men, very intimidating half the time. My name's Chibamba, so I get people call me, I would like to speak to Mr. Chibamba, so you're right.
Oh,
yeah, so it happens a lot. I've gotten used to that.
Yes, because they don't assume that the big boss is a female.
Would be a female,
Yeah.
yes, very rare.
Okay, all right, so tell us, who is Chibamba?
In a nutshell, Chibamba is a career woman, career-driven woman. I'm also a mother, a family person. I'm a single mother. I have two lovely children. Should I say widowed? Yeah, my husband passed when I was pretty young, when I was 29.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I was married and lost my husband. And I am basically a businesswoman trying to impact the Zambian economy as an SME.
Oh, that is amazing. And I love how you're saying impacting the Zambian economy as an SME. Tell us about the business side of it and you running a business. Like, who was Chibamba before and who is she now? And how did that translate to the Chibamba we know now?
All right. Chibamba was basically an ordinary person. Well, back at school, I wouldn't brag to say I was brilliant, but I did well in my sciences. I was at least in the top 5. From primary, I would say top 2, in secondary, top 5.
Yeah.
I would do very well in my sciences. So naturally, I was driven towards being in a science field, and my desire was to be a medical doctor. So when I got into the University of Zambia back then, it was a bit difficult. Being a girl, very few girls in my school. And I think when I thought about medicine critically, I felt I wouldn't fit in. It was emotionally scary. So I thought maybe something a little bit better, but looking at the career path I had already chosen, there were not much options. So I was sort of dragged into the sciences side. So I settled into biological sciences, microbiology and biochemistry. So when I settled there, as I was studying along the way, I sort of hit a wall. I was going to be in a lab for the rest of my life. I was going to be wearing a lab coat, trying to separate, titrating or doing some tissue culture or something. So as days went on and I realized it wasn't what I really wanted. So in my first job, I got some encouragement. Actually, my first job was a data entry clerk.
Oh, wow.
So whilst there, I was encouraged to do accounts. So I went started doing some accountancy studies. And I think 2 years down the line, I had done my first level of accounts, and in the second level by then Zika. I don't know if it's still called the same. So I did my Zika technician into licentiate. Then I got a different job. And whilst I was at it, I stumbled onto the mixing of science and the business side. It was a very interesting path. I realized that you don't really have to be in the lab to practice science. You can be outside and be the support for the laboratories and the scientists. And that's basically what I am doing right now.
That is such an amazing journey. Thank you so much for sharing that. And could you tell us, like, what are the dynamics and also what are the dynamics around, motherhood and the workplace? What's that like for you on a day? Like, You know, just
Generally.
give us a picture. What's that like?
It's tough as a mother and as a single mother to add on. It took me a bit of time for me to get a hang of the balance between my career and family, because I was in a point of stress at some time in my life where I didn't know being a mother and being in a busy career, a demanding career.
Yeah.
But it gets to a place where both of them are part of your life, and you also have you. So you've got the career, the children, and yourself, and you have to find a way of separating them all. So basically, it's a busy day. I have to do homework. I have to listen to people crying and all the noise, and also be able to produce results in my career and at work, of course.
And in a male-dominated field.
In a male-dominated field. They don't understand my child has a flu and they have to stay home. They don't understand it's tough. People will think you're weak because you're tired, you had a sleepless night, your child was coughing the whole night. You just have to balance it off and be strong either way.
You know, it's amazing how in the workplace, sometimes there can be some insensitivity, because I get that for a lot of men, it would be nothing to hear their child cough in the night. Like, there would be some concern, but they're not losing sleep over it. However, you being a woman, you know, like, we're biologically wired and attuned to the needs of the kids. So it would be a sleepless night for you.
Yeah,
and, you know, you can't turn off being a woman because you're a boss, but then you still have to show up and be a boss.
Exactly.
You know?
That's how it goes. There is no excuse. You
Yeah.
just have to, if everybody's there, you have to be there. As tough and as difficult as it may sound, you have to be. And I've heard stories or different people tell me the reason why I don't employ women is because women are difficult to work with. They always have a problem. They ask for maternity leave. They ask for A, B, C, D. But I have thought within myself as a woman, I think I can double it up. I'll show up. I'll make sure I produce the results that are required, and also take care of my family as well. Be a mother and balance it off as being a great entrepreneur, a successful one.
I feel like that is, you know, like, that is just such an inspiring narrative. And I had a conversation earlier this morning with somebody, and I was just saying, like, look, guys, you don't understand that everything that we do is hard, whether it's looking after a home, whether it's looking after children, or whether it's our work in the workplace. And you need to understand that even the reason that, you know, maids, housekeeping, and, you know, cleaning services are, you know, so necessary, it's because number one, they're necessary. Number two, they're hard. So I actually said, like, after I got the taste, because I'm not I will admit, you know, to my failure as a woman, to my failure as a woman, to the fact that, you know, like, I have help. You know, like, I have somebody who comes through and does my laundry, you know,
Exactly.
you know, clean my home and stuff like that.
And that doesn't make you a failure.
It doesn't
No,
make me a
it doesn't.
failure.
No,
Okay, but
you're
I feel
actually
like,
balancing it off.
you know,
you're working so hard elsewhere, and you need the extra help. Firstly, giving another family a chance of having an income.
Absolutely.
So we are balancing it off. I don't feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
So I can't remember the last time I did laundry. But I know for certain, I look out for everybody. Has everybody bathed? Have they eaten? Have they? Has the laundry been done? That's as far as my job can do. Find the money and pay the next person.
Find the money and
so
pay
don't
the
feel
next
guilty
person.
about it. You're
Yes,
doing great.
absolutely. Yeah. And I actually say that, you know, the reason I need help is because it's hard. So I actually, you know, like, have a shout out to every single, you know, a stay-at-home mom, not single. Every stay-at-home mom out there, like, the work they do is difficult. It's the hardest job
ever.
And, you know, people take it like, oh, just because we're women, and just because we're, you know, just because we're women, just because, you know, these things come natural to us, you know, like care, concern, homekeeping, you know, like raising children, like, just because it comes natural to us, it's easy. It's never been easy.
It's never been easy.
Not for a single day.
That's the hardest job. And I remember I heard somebody ask, what should be the highest paying job? To be honest, just being a mom.
Yeah.
That's hard. During COVID, I learned the hard way. It's difficult just to have a child next to you. What more, take care of them?
Yeah, just imagine it's your job to tend to
do it every day.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, shout out to every nanny out there.
And every mother.
Every
You're
housekeeper.
doing great.
You're doing an amazing job. And for the working ones, don't feel so guilty that you can't be there 100% of the time. You got this. Yeah. All right. So, Chibamba, tell us, what do you feel is a lot of the important mental and emotional fuel that you had to amass to be who you are today?
Most of the emotional part comes from loss. So in 1 year, actually 2 weeks apart, I lost my mother and her brother.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So by virtue of that happening to me, I come from a family of 6. So I inherited 6 children, me inclusive. I was still a child.
Oh, wow.
I became a mother of 6. In African culture, we have to take on, I have to take on my uncle's kids. So I took on 2 girls. So my family was 8 plus my own 2 biological children, that was 10. So I immediately had to take care of 10 people. And my grandmother, my mother's mother, who unfortunately 6 months down the line passed as well.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Just before she passed, my husband passed. So it was a whole 1 year full of emotions and pain and how am I going to get out of this? And out of that, I got out of that situation. I was alive, I was breathing. It means I can conquer anything. I can do it, there's nothing I'm scared of. Not even the dark. I'm not scared. As long as I hear and I understand there's light at the end of the tunnel, I can do it. So it was from a place of hurt, of pain, of unconsolable kind of pain where I don't know what else to do. The only thing I can say is, God, I only have you. Your grace is what can take me to the next level. And that's what moved me to where I am.
Oh, that is such a powerful story and an amazing story, because, you know, too often when our losses are, or when they feel insurmountable and, like you said, inconsolable, you know, the temptation to shut down is always right there, you know, like...
You would easily break down, just lose it and say, I'm done, God doesn't love me no more.
Yeah, but then there's such individuals that have had, you know, like, you know, somebody would expect that somebody's fuel would have been, or a person like me would expect that somebody's fuel would have been from, you know, such a great positive thing happening. But then, however, for you, you've drawn so much power and strength from, you know, the worst of tragedies happening to you within the space of a year. And then, you know, like that just also introduced Chibamba at the next level. And I feel like that is such a powerful story. Thank you so much for sharing it with us.
Thank you.
Because, you know, the next time something bad happens, then, you know, I will remember
it should be a place, everything that happens in life either draws you backwards or moves you forward. It's a choice you make. You have to choose for yourself. Should it move me forward or backwards? So to everybody out there, we have to make a decision. This negative thing that has happened, what am I going to draw out of it? What lessons, what strength? And it's at that point when you realize that you want positivity, that you actually have the strength to do it. We doubt ourselves, but God has given us enough strength within ourselves, a capacity that would draw us to the next level, push us, catapult us to the next place.
Yeah, and this is so amazing because you're an amazing young woman, you know? Like, you're an amazing young woman, and I know that you're like gonna be a keynote speaker at an event that's coming up soon.
Yeah, I'm excited about that, very excited.
Oh, so tell us what you're excited about, especially like what's one of the biggest messages that you want to share given your platform?
I would like to share with the people, the audience, many other times that we look down on ourselves, we second guess ourselves. When you are thinking, I can have a business, I can start producing mango juice, then you start thinking, then who will buy? There's another company there doing it, another big name doing it, then you second guess yourself. But you just have to realize within yourself, even as that small company, the big company exists, it was also small at some point. As small as you are, you can grow into being something big. Never second guess yourself. That's my message.
Oh, that is definitely a powerful message, because, you know, it's definitely tough in a world where nothing is new under the sun, and everything that you want to do, somebody has done 10 times over. Yeah, so also speaking to that point, what is the point at which somebody should not think, you know, what is the point of false hope? Because there are things that, you know, you should do and believe in yourself. Do not doubt yourself. That's for sure, for sure. But then, however, there's some industries in which, you know, like maybe it's not worth all the effort. Like, what is the point at which somebody should not work on something when it's proving to show, when it's showing you negatives?
Personally, I have learned to choose my battles. So I look at my strength and I look at the battle. Is it worth it? Okay, if I fight this battle, what will I get out of it? And how much will it benefit me? And when I weigh the good and the bad, the positive and the negative, then I get to realize that I get to choose whether it's worth it or not to proceed or venture into it. So the advice I would give people is we have to critically look at matters. Let's ignore our excitement, remove our emotions. Let's be critical about matters. Look at things and make decisions with logic. not with emotion, because we're excited. Because many of the times when you hear somebody say, you can do it, then you're like, yeah, I can run the 100 meters.
Yeah.
Then along the way, but do you think you've got one leg and you want to run 1,000 kilometers, how's that going to work? You have to weigh the options. Okay, I can do it, but I've only tried 500. Can I go the 1,000 Ks? Okay, maybe I can do 750. Weigh yourself. Actually, don't fight any battle. You lose your strength unnecessarily.
Oh, that is such an amazing point, because because especially for me, I'm also like highly emotionally motivated. You know what I mean?
But it's a good thing. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
It moves you. That there are things I've done because there's a hype. It's like it's happening. I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm gonna do it. Then it happens. Boom. It's a fluke. But that's maybe 1 out of every 10.
Yeah,
the real stuff you have to use logic.
Yeah, like let's also acknowledge that there are flukes on this planet.
Flukes, yes, and you'd be like,
flukes.
How did that happen?
Like it shouldn't have worked, but it did.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and speaking to flukes, you know, something that's, you know, going wild all over the world right now is the folding of the cryptocurrency FTX, and how, you know, like some things made it only because they were flukes. And let's also not deny the number of things that happen even where something could have been very positive, such as mismanagement, a lack of knowledge, a lack of, you know, opportunity, a lack of the right people, or you know, like being at the right place at the wrong time. You know, like such things do happen. But then there are incidences of cases where like, okay, that success was, you know, based on pure luck, and, you know, like it's sad. And, you know, sadly, I think about $32 billion has been lost in this.
But it has worked out for some people.
Yeah, it did work out for some people.
People have really made money out of it. But at the end, it's slumped. So it's either or. It's really a game of chance if you haven't thought it through.
Yeah, and what I love about what you said is like have all the information before you go full speed ahead, you know, with something that you're passionate about. Know everything, know what could work, what couldn't work. And if there's a higher chance that it could work, then absolutely throw everything that you have behind it. I really love what you said, because, you know, it also like is a beacon of hope. It's not, it's like just don't entertain false hope. And I love that message.
Thank you.
Okay, so Chibamba, at which point in your life did you feel like you were gonna make an impact and make it for a lot of people? Was it always that you wanted to just be significant for the sake of your family and, you know, like the new responsibilities that you had? Or has there always been a Chibamba that was gonna change the world as you are now?
Growing up, I'll start from being a child. Growing up, I think I was one of the most notorious children. Not really notorious in a bad way, like I would do bad things.
Yeah.
But I was just outspoken. I was all over the place. If I told you that when I was
bouncing off the walls.
when I was in secondary school, I had the worst experience, best but worst. Anybody would call it bad. I received the worst punishments because I was always trying out something new. I wanted to know what will happen after I do this. How will it, even if I'm punished to dig a pit, will I die? So I would always be, I didn't care what happens. I've always been a risk taker. So along the way, I didn't have that fight. I didn't know it existed within me. So when after my mom passed, by then I think I was about 28 I saw. So my husband had passed away as well. So I was working for this amazing boss, Mr. Arun Mito. He's still an amazing boss. He's the man that made me believe in myself. So for so many times, he ran a group of companies called the Tech Group. So within his group of companies, one time he sat me down and told me, do you know you have the potential to be my general manager? And by then I was just his business development officer. So I was like, okay, so what do you mean? I said, looking into it. And I realized he would throw me in the deep end. Whenever I would be in the deep end and he's thrown me in front of a pack of wolves, then I'll be seated and I'll come out alive. The next time he does it, I'll come out alive. And from there, I drew my lessons. That's when I realized there was more to me than just an ordinary person walking. And that's how the fear of other human beings, the fear of failure more especially, died. So I'm not scared of failing. I'm actually more interested, or I'm very happy to face fear. Whatever happens, whoever dies between the two of us dies, but I'm more confident I'll kill fear.
Yeah, that is, I feel like you're such a study in resilience. And I obviously feel, you know, it's more relatable because you're female. And so the things that you face are the things that I face. And I've realized that, you know, like dealing in a male-dominated field, whether it's, you know, science or the corporate world. I
think almost all the fields are male-dominated.
It's the same.
They had actually lumped us to say women belong to the kitchen. But there's more to that. We belong both to the kitchen and to the world.
Yeah.
And it is difficult because there are times I walk into a room and 80% of the people are male. First of all, they look at the way you're looking, okay? They judge your body size. Then they wait for you to speak. After you speak, then they come shake your hand and they're like, oh, good speech. Then you're like, so, but when I walked in, why did you look surprised that I was a woman? It happens, but it's just that maybe we
will be underestimated even as we walk in the world, go into these spaces.
Exactly. However, but you just have to know yourself.
I love it, and I love it. I feel like, you know, like that's an amazing lesson. That's showing up. You know, like let's just show up no matter where it is that we go.
No matter, just make it. Show up at least. Just even if you can't walk, at least crawl. If you can't crawl, do whatever it takes. Be moving.
Keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
Absolutely.
Even if it doesn't look rosy.
That is such a powerful message. Would you have a word for young women, especially in entrepreneurship? I like what you said. The spirit of entrepreneurship is that of building something, and even as you build, when we fail, when we crash, when other things happen, I like the stuff that you said. And for you, I love how it's like do or die, you know? You've kept on saying it. It's, you know, like, it's you know, I won't die, I won't die, I won't die. I feel like there's such a powerful message that you've shared in terms of how we frame problems or challenges or the things that come to knock us down. Because it makes all the difference in the attitude that you're gonna have when you wake up, or when you have to get back up, or when you have to continue building or keep it moving.
Sure.
So I really love that. But any last words for a young woman, a young career professional, or a young entrepreneur out there that is looking to make it, that is looking to create many different possibilities? Please, you can look into your camera. Message for a young woman.
Young lady out there, like young ladies, the truth is entrepreneurship isn't a walk in the park. It's tough. You cry. You will go through pain. You face a lot of challenges. You go hungry. It's not the easiest, but when you break through, when it happens, then you've made it. Along the way, when you fall, pick up your pieces and walk again. Don't throw in the towel and do not give up. That's the best I can tell you about being a successful entrepreneur. I'm not very successful yet, but that's what I can say.
Mean?
That's the walk. I'm not very successful yet. I'm not there yet.
I think
I'm not there yet.
But then that speaks to your ambition. You know?
I'm not there yet. Getting there.
Then you're super ambitious.
As we are getting there, let's always bear in mind we fall. I fell. I go back, cry. Next morning, wipe off my tears and walk and say, I've learned, pick my lessons, and I walk on. We soldiers, let's keep fighting.
Absolutely. So you heard it from Miss Chibamba Kandala. We are soldiers. Let's keep fighting. Let's keep fighting, because there's everything to fight for. And even as you're out there in your entrepreneurial path, just remember, we're here to create possibilities for the world. We're young people with so much potential, and there's so many opportunities within this great nation of ours. And let's just remember, we're here to create possibilities, not only for ourselves, but for others. So this has been the Possibility Series with the amazing Chibamba Kandala. See you in the next episode. Ciao.